What it really comes down to is whether or not the prospect that you're engaging with feels that you heard them, feels that you're serving them to an exact T. And the problem with a lot of sales that you may be losing right now is because there's no context to it. There's no meat and bones to it. Meaning it's the difference of saying, hey, I could lower your payment and save you some money versus, hey, I got an idea. If we actually did A, B, and C, not only will I help improve your FICO, but I'm going to help increase your monthly savings so that you could do X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense? So it's a little bit more tailor fit, it's a little bit more customized. What's up, everybody? Are you in sales? Do you work in sales as a profession? If you do, this video is really going to help you because you're going to experience this at some point in your career or at some point even today or this week, where you're going to get inquiries coming in and inquiring about the business and the service that you sell. And you're going to put in some time to put that service together or structure that deal. You're going to take some time to pitch them, answer their questions, and then what's going to happen is they're going to go ghost on you. They're going to disappear. They're going to take their business elsewhere, and you're going to have this feeling of resentment, like maybe you did something wrong, or maybe your company's not good enough, your price not good enough, your skills are not good enough. And I hope in this video that I'm going to share with you just a slight adjustment that you could do to really pick up the conversion rate that you have. You see, I'm going to use my profession, for example. For those of you who know, I work in real estate, and so I sell real estate loans, financing. And if anyone right now watching this video can relate, if you work in real estate, there's just no loyalty, right? And so you're gonna have inquiries from people who need your service, but they're going to be very selective and drop you at the lowest rate or the lower price competitor that's out there. And so my message to you is that there is a way to really capture the business and create enough glue to where they stick with you, regardless of how lower price your competitors are, or how more recognized your competitors are. And this is how. So let me give you a little bit of backstory as to why I think that this video is very helpful. Is because, in real estate right now, you might already know that the market is actually working in our favor. And so we're getting much more inquiries than we have literally in the last couple years. Inquiries, I'm talking about people actually calling in or people stopping by, whatever it is, and they want to know if you can help them. And so we have this massive amount of opportunity to capture a ton of business, and some salesmen are really going to prosper and some salesmen are going to get burnt out and kind of miss that wave. And I say wave because the time that we're in right now doesn't happen all the time. But when it does happen, it is our duty to make sure that we capitalize on this moment so that we're not missing any opportunity, nor are we leaving any money on the table. And so it's very important that, if you're experiencing this right now, like you're seeing a lot of people in your sales team produce high numbers, but you just can't, like you hit a plateau and you can't seem to get past a specific number, or you just can't seem to make a certain amount of sales that you see everyone else making. I want to tell you what the slight difference is between their system and what might be effective with your system. And what it really comes down to is the customer experience. Now, I know it's a little cliche, right? And it's very traditional sales training advice. Like, it's all about the customer experience, but it has so much truth and weight to it, because what it really comes down to is whether or not the prospect that you're engaging with feels that you heard them, feels that you're serving them to an exact T. And the problem with a lot of sales that you may be losing right now is because there's no context to it. There's no meat and bones to it. Meaning it's the difference of saying, hey, I could lower your payment and save you some money versus, hey, I got an idea. If we actually did A, B, and C, not only will I help improve your FICO, but I'm going to help increase your monthly savings so that you could do X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense? So it's a little bit more tailor fit, it's a little bit more customized. And I think that it's natural for salespeople right now, especially right now, with how good the market is, that we become systematic, meaning that we just go with the flow. And the problem with that is, though, is that you kind of have this false sense of how can I put it, security, knowing that you're going to get more inbounds, you're going to get more leads that day. And I think that if you can make this one slight adjustment, not only will you pick up more business, but you're going to position yourself to actually create the bond and the glue to hold on to that business, to make sure that they stick with you regardless if one of your competitors contacts them shortly after your phone call. And so let me give you an idea. A traditional kind of method right now where loan officers are engaging with the prospects is it's a very quick transaction. There's no emotion behind it. And I'm a firm believer that in order to have someone buy into you, you need to identify their emotions. And there are three primary emotions. The three primary emotions are love, fear, and survival, right? Or self-preservation, however you want to look at it. There are three primary emotions that you need to identify, because one of those three are the primary influences behind your prospect's decision making. And so if they, if it's for something that they love, like let's say for example for their property or their house, then they may be influenced by the decision to maybe improve that property. But at the same time, if it's more influenced by fear, then it's really about the fear of what would happen if they didn't secure the help that you could provide them. Does that make sense? So I think a lot of us, especially in sales in a fast-paced environment, we kind of get that convoluted. We kind of, there's this misunderstanding that the prospects are just there for money. They're just there for price. They're just there for interest rate. And for as long as I've been doing this, I know for certain that it's not just the price. It's not just, the rate. What it is, it's an emotion. It's an emotional buy-in from your prospect, meaning that they are super confident that you understand what their needs are, and you've developed and designed a perfect solution that is tied to their emotion. So if you can understand that by itself, that's going to help you not only save a ton of time, but it's going to help you massively increase your production and your income, which is followed by your mindset and your confidence. And so it's really going to help you a great deal if you could just understand that your focus is not to sell them. And I want to underline that, right? Like the primary focus is not to sell people, it's to understand how to serve them solutions, serve them plans, serve them a map, an organized step-by-step process of how to effectively achieve a particular goal. And that goal is going to be tied to one of those three emotions. And so again, whether it's love, fear, or survival, they're going to tell you in the conversation what they care about most. But the problem though is that when you're in a fast-paced environment and you become systematic with the belief that, oh, I just need to hurry up and, is this person going to buy? Are they going to buy? You leave a lot of money on the table that way. And the reason why you're leaving a lot of money on the table is because you never took the time to really identify how to serve that particular person's desire, their emotion. We need to take the time and slow down and dig in a little bit deeper and identify what makes that person tick. And that person that I'm talking about is not only ourselves, right, but it's the person that we're actually serving. Like, you'd be amazed how many salespeople feel entitled to get a sale just because you worked up a deal, or just because you got a discount, or just because you took the time to answer their questions, or because you took the time to structure a pitch and you spent an hour with them. Like, there's some salespeople, and not too many people will admit this, that feel entitled for that sale. And it is very, very important to your well-being and your success of really identifying whether or not you're helping them, or are you trying to help yourself by making an easy sale. So it's a very deep story. It's very, it's a very deep message. And I think that anyone in sales right now, if you could really grasp that idea and that way of thinking, not only will it make your job easier, but it's going to give you the fruits of the labor that we do, right? A lot of people don't join sales because we like the grind. right? And a lot of people don't join sales because we like the challenge. People join sales or get into sales because they understand that they can generate more income than the average 9-to-5 job. You can earn more income than some people who have master degrees to do professions like an attorney, a CPA, or doctor. You have the opportunity to earn more income than some doctors, police officers, right? These are high-level people, CEOs, presidents. You join sales because of the unlimited opportunity to earn a massive amount of income very quickly. And the idea is that because we forget our reasons why. And that's what I'm talking about, is by identifying the emotions of not only ourselves but the people that we encounter, we'll begin to better kind of emulate and take the actions that are necessary to design the future that we're trying to look for. So if you're joining sales to design a future of abundance or financial security or a career, whatever it is, you need to identify what that reason why is. Because there are going to be times where you're not going to, even I go through it. There are going to be times where you hit slumps and you feel like you can't sell nothing, or maybe the person next to you produces more, and it's a mental sport. But if you can just hone in and just focus on your own game and remember that selling is actually serving, it's not trying to make a quick buck. It really is a matter of serving, and it pays back tenfold. Because if you can help enough people get what they want, you will eventually get what you want. If you can help enough people the correct way solve a particular problem, they will be so grateful for you and to you, they will feel indebted to you. And so that's how a successful salesman becomes successful, is because they've identified that switch. They've made that tweak to their service or their engagements. And so that's how you build a book of business. That's how you get referrals. That's how you consistently produce and outproduce the average salesperson in your team. You're looking at it through a different lens. You're looking at it in a different way. Where a lot of salespeople who may be average or below average, they're looking at it as a grind. They're looking at it as something that they don't want to do, like you got to take out the trash, or you got to go clean your house, or you got to wash your car. It's something that you don't necessarily want to do, but you feel like you have to in order to pay the rent. You see, when you develop a way to look at your sales job or your profession as a way of maximizing help to anyone you encounter, like your goal is to help change people's lives. I know it sounds corny, right? It sounds like cliche, but it's the absolute truth. When you look at your job that way, it no longer is a grind. It's a little bit easier to do. Now, when you add an additional condition, like where you look at it as like a game, where you're competing with the best of them, or you're determined to become the best or the top earner, then it becomes a game. And so now it's not necessarily a grind, but at the end of the day, you have to put the two together. So you have to look at selling as serving, and you got to look at your grind as an actual game. So I hope you guys understand this message whenever you're catching this. If you want to catch more content, definitely go to Sales Remastered on YouTube, Facebook, and of course here on Instagram. I appreciate all the likes. I appreciate all the shares and the comments. I do see you. I do read them. I do respond. And I'm wishing you guys a very strong day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.